Hi guys, welcome along to the BBQ Talk Show. My name's Matt, aka Smoking Q's. This is the one and only Mr. Ryan G. Welcome back, brother. How are you?
Hi everyone, it's nice to be back. Had a little bit of stuff going on, but back and now enthusiastic for the podcast, so we've got a great guest on today.
Absolutely.
Can't wait to get talking to him. So,
coming up on tonight's show, we'll be speaking to Olav from Meat and Metal. A pub club is back in force with Mr. Ryan G. As you can see, he's already chugging them down in it. He's getting ready for it. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy the show. First, a foreword from our show supporters. The Rusty Barbecue Company brings an exclusive 10% discount to all of their products on their website. Meter, 15% off worldwide on all of their products. Globaltic, who we've teamed up with to bring you 10% off of their quality birch charcoal. And our latest show supporter is the Dusty Barn. And do you know what? I've been talking to him today about some top secret stuff. He's bringing us 10% discount for all of his custom made signs, shack, bits for your shack, your chopping boards. And to be honest, he said to me, anything you can think of, he's going to give it a go. So if you've got some elaborate, crazy sort of idea for a chopping board, hit him up and he will endeavour to make something incredible. And I'm just rambling, but the stuff he makes is
top notch, really, really good, well made stuff. So I'd have to hook Hobo up with him and see if he can knock something up for him.
No, let's not dirty up the subject, eh? We're not.
No,
on this website, so.
I'm just saying it might be interesting.
Yeah.
But I think
Absolutely.
Brilliant partnership. Great to have 10% off. Get over to our website, make the most of what we got. Please do go spend your money, do it for our sake, and save a little bit of money. We're here for you to build the community.
Definitely. So, Mr. G, how have you been? Obviously, the people that listen and watch each week know that you've been away for a few weeks, obviously with some personal issues. Mm-hmm. And we are all very, very glad to have you back. It's not been the same. The guys have been, edging me on to keep the pub club open later and later, but I'm just too old for it. I can't deal with it.
I'm older than you.
I know.
I'm a broken man.
Yeah, but you're a hardened, alcoholic. I've just rediscovered fancy beers, so it must just be people that Neil's in there, Hanson's in there, Tom's in, Daddy Dutch. I reckon you're gonna have a fun-packed pub club tonight.
We got Kenneth in there as well from Snoop Barbecue. Hassan, Match, Neil, lots of people. Thank you for your kind words in the chat. It's really nice. So, without further ado, I think we should put our guest up and C-Mac as well. Craig's in there. How are you doing, Craig? Let's get him up and have a talk.
Yeah, let's do it. So, this week it is, like I said, Olav from Meat and... get me words muddled up. Meat and Metal. Let's bring him in and say hello.
Oh shit!
How you doing, brother?
We're on. Cheers.
Evening, gents.
Good evening to you, sir.
I'm doing all right. And how are you guys doing?
Really good.
Not
really
too
good.
Bad at all.
It's nice to have you on talking with a beer. It'd be interesting to get your perspective on how things go over in Norway with the barbecue and stuff. I've been a fan of your Instagram page. You've got a YouTube channel. We're going to go into all of that good stuff, touch on your Traeger deals and how you sort of like conduct yourself with those as well, because that all looks really good. We're going to, have a little bit of a chat, good conversation, and find out what's going on. Also, your website's wonderful. I figured out how to translate that via the gift of Matt this morning. I've just been going over it, looking at the pictures.
It's in Norwegian, but I put in a Google Translate plugin, so you can get the gist of it at least. I mean,
it took me over a week to figure that out until Matt told me. Just saying.
Very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only thing that I'd probably suggest is trying to bump that translate button to the top.
There's a template somewhere for it, and I haven't figured it out yet. So yeah,
No.
but I'll
Well,
get on it.
Yeah, definitely. Wonderful website, by the way. Very good.
Cheers.
So, Olav, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how long you've been cooking over fire and flames, and all that good stuff about barbecue. Let's get this rolling.
Yeah, I'm Norwegian, 44 years old. Live around 40 minutes outside of Oslo, the capital of Norway, for all you geographically challenged people. I started cooking with fire, flame, and smoke about 10 years ago. We bought a holiday home in Sweden, and we went to a shop that makes little appear classy. And I bought yeah, it's real shit.
No,
Uh,
right?
bought a horrible kettle grill for like 20 quid 10
Mm.
years ago. I still got it somewhere in the shed there, and that's how it got started. It really took off for me when we bought a one of those tripod suspended fire pits that
Oh, yeah.
keep off of their hair, and mess around with that, burnt
Mm.
lots of sausages and pork chops and pork steaks and whatnot, and
Hmm.
then Chef's Table season one, the episode with Francis Malman happened,
Mm.
and I had a man crush. I it was I fell in love with his philosophy of using fire and
Mm.
the embers and all that, and sort of rolled with that. Then uh, 4 5 years ago, I had a big birthday, and the family chipped in and got me a Traeger Pro 34.
Hmm.
At the time, I'd been furloughed from work, so I had a bit of time on my hands, and I started, writing because I like writing and I like cooking, and I started
Mm.
writing about grilling, and fired up the Traeger, and that was love at first whiff of smoke, as it
Oh.
were. And a couple of months after that, the people who imported Traeger asked me if I wanted to partner with them, and
Hmm.
so I did.
Nice.
And was quickly one of the members of the Norwegian Pro team here, and been collaborating with them for ever since.
Oh, wow. Can you tell us a little bit about
Awesome
that
stuff.
protein? That sounds really interesting.
It's right now it's not a whole lot, but
Mm.
it's
Oh, yeah, in the future and when things hopefully
uh,
go back to normal.
yeah, but it's basically being an ambassador for Traeger in Norway, participating in events and holding
Mm.
classes for them and stuff like that. So
Mm.
basically educating people on the use of pellet grills and Traegers and what you can do with them, and also teaching people about barbecue in Norway.
Yeah, yeah. So how big is the barbecue scene in Norway? But is it sort of like quite a minority, or is it a growing thing, or has it always been there? Or
It hasn't always been here.
hmm.
We have a handful of barbecue restaurants in Norway, like proper barbecue restaurants. There's
Mm.
about three, I think, now in the Oslo area.
Mm.
There's a couple of more scattered around the country. But the barbecue scene or community in Norway is basically backyarders. There's
Yeah.
a couple of people who run catering gigs and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But there is a very growing interest in barbecue and low and slow cooking, using smoke as
Mm.
Yeah.
an additional ingredient into your food, and an interest in cooking larger, cheaper, tougher cuts such as brisket, chuck. Um, some of these cuts we do have in Norway, and traditionally we just chuck them in a stew. But now we're trying to get people towards, chuck them on the smoker instead.
Okay.
Nice.
I've just
Looks like we're having a little bit of technical issues. Olav, you're really quiet. Ryan, you're really loud.
Am I?
Ryan, turn down your mic a little bit.
I'll just back off the mic. How's that? Oh, Matt, are you still there? Olav, is he still there?
Yeah.
Oh, it's all right. We're still here. Matt's just crashed, I think.
I'm still around. Oh, there he is.
There he is. He's
Don't
back
know
in the
what
room.
happened there. That was extremely strange.
It was a glitch in the matrix.
Yeah.
Did anyone hear what I said before it made me disappear? No. So Ryan, you're extremely loud. So just turn your mic down a little bit. And then Olav, you're quite quiet. So is there any chance you could just move a little bit closer to the mic, or speak up?
I can do
this. I think it's coming out of your laptop rather than out of the headphone wire.
Let's see.
Hobo's in. Can you still hear me breathing, Charlie?
I can.
Really?
Yeah,
God.
we'll have to have a tweak whilst later on over the weekend or something.
Hold on. Let's just...
Shit. Sorry.
That's okay. No worries. It's all fun. That's part of a live show.
Yeah. How about now?
That's better, Ryan.
Yeah, that's better, is it?
Am I still?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Cool.
Let's, cock. Sorry, I can't. Is it better
That's
now?
okay. No worries.
All right.
No.
I'll sit as close as I possibly can. Okay.
So
No,
we'll
I
be able
guess
to...
it must be. It must still be coming out of the microphone thing then, because it's. Yeah, I don't know. Peculiar. Oh well. Well,
It sounds
I can
okay
always
to me. I can hear you fine in the headphones. We'll normalise you in the podcast so you'll be nice and loud.
That's,
So.
that's exactly right. The joys of the podcast. Yeah. Crank that mic there.
Shut up, Josh.
So where were we? Oh, right. So getting back into the thread of things. So we were talking about barbecue and smoking and use it as an ingredient and educating the good people in Norway. Does that kind of is it any sort of traditional Norwegian food? Can that be sort of transferable over to sort of like cooking over live fire and all of that sort of good stuff?
It's a fairly short or recent tradition to eat leg of lamb for Easter, but that works brilliant on the fire. I've done it for 2 hours. I've done it for 8 hours. I've done it on my Traeger. I've done it on a fire pit. It works brilliant. For Christmas, a lot of people like to eat pork belly, roast pork belly, on Christmas Eve for Christmas dinner. That works absolutely beautiful on the grill, and I see more and more people are trying that on Christmas Eve to cook that dinner on the grill instead of doing it inside.
Mm-hmm. That you got to be pretty enthusiastic to get out in Norway Christmas Eve and cooking a pork belly on a barbecue. Right, it must be super cold.
Well, it depends on where you are. I mean, along the western coast, it doesn't get too cold. It's usually in the plus, but inland and up north, you can have negative 20°C or even further below. Where I live, we typically have between 5 and 10 C below zero, but it can drop down to 15 or 20 below, and then you add a meter of snow. But it's all fun.
I was going to say, it sounds like great fun to me. I've never cooked in, the coldest I've ever cooked in the UK is, I think it got down to about -6 or 7, and I was outside cooking. And it was sort of like light snow, but I've got like a barbecue shack, so I was sort of like under that, and it was all quite good fun because the barbecue was keeping me warm, and obviously the Jack Daniels as well, because that's necessary for that time of day. So But
That's it. If you're going to grill in winter, if you have a more traditional grill and not like a high tech, like a Traeger that you can use your phone to check on it. Keep it as warm, have something good to drink, and stand close to the fire. And
yeah.
box your uncle.
Well, that's where like Matt is. He's a Traeger guy. He's just recently got himself a Traeger. I'm more of a traditional barbecue. I've got a drum smoker and run kettles, and the closest thing I've got to sort of like anything like that is a flat top grill. So like they're good fun actually. I quite enjoy cooking on them. But yeah, I just stick it all in a UDS and off I go. But the beauty, I suppose, the beauty of a pellet grill and especially the Traeger brand is you literally set it and forget it and off you go. And
it's brilliant if you have kids and you have to run errands and stuff like that. And this is not to disrespect any traditional barbecues out there with offsets or UDSs or flat tops. I mean, I love those as well.
The flat top is a good fun thing to cook on. Everything's just so quick. It's like instant. You sort of like put it on and cook it, and you've got to manage really good grill management, really good, and you're constantly on the go as well. We've got a question in from the chat, actually from Josh. There we go. What are your best techniques for temp management working with live coals as opposed to the pellet burner?
Basically, 2 zones. Set up a 2-zone system. Have your charcoal or briquettes on one side, and then empty on the other. Have a rake of some sort, and if you can get that rake underneath the grate, and you can sort of break the coals back and forth a little bit. Otherwise,
yeah.
And move it around. And also, if you with charcoal or think about 20 minutes ahead of where you are, so that you can myself aware that that's needed. So, under optimum conditions, you could have a something set up with one of those finish buckets.
We seem to be losing your audio, mate. Something's really going on.
It's really not good today, is it? Was it better when I wasn't in?
I could hear him well when you wasn't in. I don't know. I'll drop out and see what happens. We might have to tic-tac across. Oh. Try that again. Can you hear me again on it?
I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, it is. It's when Matt comes in, you go really quiet for some reason.
Oh, so I'm not the problem. He's the problem then.
Always.
Oh. So difficult finding good help these days.
I'll tell you what, he's the IT guy. I know nothing about IT. All I can do is turn a computer up. Well, you saw me earlier. I couldn't even transfer a file. But I don't know. He'll figure it out. One thing Matt is very smart, so he will be back, and he will be back relatively quickly, hopefully. So as we were saying, you manage the coals at low temperature in a low, two-zone fire by raking the coals around.
And if you want to, with a charcoal grill or a kettle grill, if you want to cook slow and low, set up a snake, where you arrange your briquettes along the side of the kettle in 2 or 3 rows, and then you can add bits of wood, intermediates throughout, and you basically light a fuse with briquettes in one end, and that will slowly burn its way around. I did that on that cheap kettle I talked about, and it works. Of course, when it doesn't work and it all sort of lights up at the same time, you're kind of fucked. But it usually works.
Well, I'm just kind of reading the track that your mic's still really low, but it's all right. We'll just carry on. We're going to get a decent podcast out of this. I know that, because we can do the magic of clever stuff.
I've turned the volume up in the background for him.
All right.
I like how he just jumps in, says something, and disappears.
Yeah, I know. He's like, boom, gun gone. So where were we? So yeah, tell us a little bit about your traditional Norway cooking then. So we've covered you're doing like leg of lamb and all of that good stuff at Easter, and well,
Yeah.
you said you touched on you hung it over a fire pit. Is there any sort of like? I'm fascinated by sort of like what you do. I don't know.
Well, in Norway, we haven't really had that huge tradition of roasts and like you do in the UK or grilling.
Hmm.
What I'm touching on. Um, I'm trying to get people to what I want with my blog and what I cook put in the kitchen, take that out
Hmm.
of the grill. So if you buy a nice like a reindeer roast, not not chuck it in the oven, chuck it on the grill. It's going to be so
Yeah,
much.
yeah. Definitely
But
got to get out cooking.
and we use a lot of lamb. We have some excellent lamb in Norway. So lamb
Hmm.
with lamb shoulder. Um, do use a lot of pork, of course. In summer, one of our Norwegian summer favorite is fresh mackerel with salad, cream, grilled potatoes. Put that on the grill, and that's brilliant.
This is
Ryan, I think it is
yeah.
very likely that the audio issues we're having is StreamYard's end.
Oh no.
And I hate to say this, but I don't think the sound is that good from either end at the moment.
Okay.
It
What
may possibly be that we might have to abort mission and rebook if possible.
Hmm.
I know there's lots of people watching, and I really don't like saying that. But
let me try to unplug this.
you might now need to go into the audio settings and change it around a little bit.
I've got a whole thing of Doombar.
Get rid of that off the screen. All right. Olav, you're going to need to go. There we go.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes! Much better.
Yes. Yep. All right.
Hugely better.
All right.
Ryan, you stop fiddling with your settings, mister. I've just
I haven't-
changed your settings. I can
I
now
haven't
not
touched
hear you
mine.
breathing.
I haven't touched my settings. I haven't done anything to them.
I've just turned on the noise cancellation for you.
Oh, okay.
So no one can hear you breathing anymore. Olav, I can hear you, and so can the rest of the world by the looks of it. I think we should just start this all again
Evening, gents. How are you?
It's not a bad
So
shout.
happy to
To
be
be fair.
here.
and just start again because I'm not sure anybody heard much of what was going on. So should we have another crack at the whip?
All right.
Okay. Right. So
Right.
barbecue.
Welcome
talk
along
show.
to the barbecue talk show.
Oh, my
Evening,
brother's in.
gents.
Hi, Mark. Yeah. Hello again.
Well, I tell you what, in our 43 episode career, Ryan, I don't think we've ever had to say, I think we might have to reschedule.
Yeah.
That was
man.
a flying by the seam of my... Wow. That was nearly as bad as the head on that point.
Yeah. I was shocked, to be honest. I can't. Oh, man. Never mind. Right. So we've still got the material. We've got the means. It just means it might take a little bit longer, unfortunately, and probably end up a little bit more drunk. My brother's in the chat. Hi, Mark. Thanks for jumping on.
Right. So let's jump back a few questions because I didn't
All right.
hear any of the answers. So we got when you started over Smoke and Fire, then I disappeared because my internet broke. So what was the question after that, Ryan? Let's go from there.
Okay, so let's jump straight into the Traeger deal. Tell us about
All right.
how you landed it, basically, and yeah, let's go from there. Let's start back with Traeger.
A couple of years ago, I had a significant birthday, the big 40, and the family got together, got me a Traeger Pro 34, which I wanted, which was very nice, and all the bells and whistles to go with it. And at the same time, I'd started a blog dedicated to grilling because I was furloughed and had a bit of time on my hands, and I like cooking and I like writing, and I just ended up combining the two. Started using the Traeger, and that was love at first whiff of smoke. And a couple of months later, the Traeger people in Norway approached me and asked if I wanted to partner up with them.
Awesome.
And so I did. And we've been partnering now for good on this autumn. It's going to be 5 years, actually.
Wow.
So
yeah.
Tell me, what have Traeger sort of done deal wise with you? What have you done in the sort of the way of partnering up? What have you done for them? What have they done for you, I guess?
It's I talk about Traeger on holding classes for them, and produce content for them that they can use. Also using Traeger in my content, of course, and not only the grills, but rubs, sauces, gear, stuff like that, and so I get some exclusive previews of things to come every once in a while, and just to be ready for when the launch is and stuff like that.
Nice. I've recently joined the Traeger family with a 780 Pro.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'd see it was a toss up between a KJ and the 780, and I'm glad I got the 780. It's big, like a big old unit, but it's so versatile.
It is.
Turn it on. 10 minutes later, right, I'm cooking. There's no. It's just so easy, and the big selling point, they've spent some serious time on their app, haven't they?
Yeah.
Wow.
When I got the Ironwood, I have a Ironwood 885 and a Ranger.
Nice.
And when they launched the app, it was sort of like, I don't fucking need that. It's right outside my living room. I can just oh yeah. I'm on Android.
Okay.
But got that when I got the app set up, and I remember the first time I really used it. We were out running errands, and we went to this event with our daughter, and I had I think it was a pork shoulder to make pulled pork. And I was just walking around with my phone, looking at my grill, and told my wife, "Yeah, the internal temperature is this." And she goes like, "What are you doing?" "I'm checking on the food. I'm checking on the food." And it's so cool though.
Yeah.
And
I mean, for me, that's not like a real new thing. I've been using a Smart Fire for about 2 years.
Yeah.
So being able to wander around and check in sort of 4 probes worth of meat is good fun, but I've never had it on my watch. Being able to walk around and just go, it's currently like the pit's currently a couple of degrees off temperature. I'll just change that. That's a whole new game.
Right. Sorry, food's about done. I'll just put it on keep warm here on my phone. Hang on. Yeah.
I haven't used the keep warm function yet because I'm scared that it's going to dry my meat out.
I used it only a couple of times.
Yeah. See, I'm kind of regretting not getting the ironwood for the super smoke function, but do you use it, and is it worth it, or is it
Yes,
easy?
and yes.
Okay, there we go. So
Is the
I was
short
going to
answer.
say,
No, what I like to do with that, for instance, earlier this week I made some chicken wings. So I had the rub on and put the wings on the ironwood, and I had that at 100 degrees C, and I put the super smoke on, because the super smoke works between 85 and 105 C, or 110 C, and just to infuse even more smoke in that, and I had them on there for about an hour, and then I cranked it to 220 for 20 minutes, just to crisp up the skin.
just a crisp skin, nice.
Yeah, so you get that nice smoky, fatty wing meat, and you get that crispy skin.
See,
Sounds delicious.
when I fire mine up, for the people that don't own a Traeger, when you fire it up, I'm like, ooh, that's the kind of smoke that I should really have. But once it's at cooking temperature, you don't see it, do you?
No, and I think that's a big misunderstanding. Because when you say I smoke food, people want to see smoke, and they're used to seeing smoke from the traditional kettle or something when they chuck on wood chunks. But what you want in barbecue, and now I use the American as in the American term barbecue, not the UK term barbecue, is what you really want is that very thin blue almost invisible smoke. And with a traditional smoker like an offset or like a stick burner, you have to be very careful with managing the fire to achieve that combustion in the chamber. Pellet grills and Traegers especially are immensely efficient when it comes to combustion. So you basically you shouldn't see smoke after it starts up. Of course, when you crank it, it's gonna burn off any fats or that smokes. It's gonna burn a lot more fuel, which are wood pellets, and that's going to create a bit more smoke. But when you go low and slow, it will be more or less invisible. And I've had so many questions from people like, "Oh, I thought this was a bloody smoker. Where's the fucking smoke, you bastard?"
I see. When I first fired it up, and I'm not joking. It's like a train when you fire it up, and it just chugs smoke, and you're like, "Oh shit, this is a lot," and then it just goes, completely disappears, and you're like, "Okay." And then you go away from it. So obviously mine's situated in the back garden. So I'll go in or, go away and I'll come back. And you walk into the garden and you're like, oh, I can smell the smoke now.
We've had some people over for barbecues and stuff like that, and they know my disposition in the field, and sort of like 4 houses away, they'll start smelling it. And I've had neighbors come up to me, it's like, "What the hell were you cooking today? That smells so fucking awesome."
Yeah, it's just what you want. I tell you,
my neighbors hate me when I start.
No, you give them a few tidbits and morsels, and they'll be happy.
Exactly. That's what keeps them happy. So yeah, I tend to give out my pitmaster privileges to my neighbours to keep them happy. But I suppose it's one way you can always, if it's not quite cooked, then they're getting the food poisoning, not me.
Yeah, exactly.
I must admit, I'm extremely lucky with my neighbours. They're really cool, and I get up at silly o'clock because I have to do it the traditional way of lighting the fire and watching it all.
Yeah, see,
plumes of smoke everywhere. Get the drum going. It's romantic as it sounds. It's not as good as just flicking a switch and buggering off.
We're gonna have to get you on this Traeger life, I reckon.
I'm a drum smoker.
Maybe we should hit up Traeger as the next show sponsor.
No,
Could
I
be
wouldn't.
fun.
Yeah, it could be great. Traeger, come and sponsor the barbecue talk show, official.
Yeah,
But
that'd be awesome.
yeah, as we were saying, yeah, it's all very nice sparking a drum up and getting it going early in the morning and all of that. It's you're not sitting there looking at a watch. They're good for a few hours or 6 or 7 hours, but
Yeah.
you can't
But you know
really
what?
tell what's going on.
You know what I'm doing when you're getting up at silly o'clock to start your start your drum. I sleep.
Sleeping. Yeah.
Let the grill do the work.
Do you know the
Sorry.
only criticism I've got of my Traeger is it doesn't have a button to, you can shut it down, you can set it to keep warm, but you cannot light it remotely.
Yeah, that's.
I'd love that. Just be like, oh, I need to get up and light the butt. No, I
Yeah.
don't. Done.
3 words. U.S. judicial system. They're going to be sued from here on in. It's. I know. It's a safety feature, basically.
It's a pain. You have to physically start it.
And why can't they make a friggin' grill that flips your fucking meat for you?
It's just got like a little sort of turner inside. That'd be awesome,
and
wouldn't
get
it?
me a cold beer out the fridge and press
Rub
that
my
meat and get it on.
A nice little massage while you're sort of sitting there watching the sports, and that's barbecuing.
Without running the risk of being really sexist. Isn't that what your wife's for?
How very dare you? Not my wife. My wife's lovely.
Yes, mine wouldn't either. But
Well, I shan't comment on that.
No, wisely as well, I'd say. So let's get back on track. So, what are your favourite cooks on the grill then, Olav? What's your go-to sort of meats to cook?
I mean, pork shoulder or pork butt for pulled pork. I mean, you can't go wrong. It's a very forgiving meat, and it's fairly cheap. Feeds a lot of people, or keeps you with excellent food for a week if you're a family of 4. Makes excellent tacos, nachos, stews, etc. Spatchcock chicken, whole chicken.
Yeah.
Cut the backbone out, smash it.
A bit of spatchcock chicken.
Burgers are of course a favorite, but and beef short ribs. Don't tell anyone, but I actually rate beef short ribs higher than brisket.
Me too.
I think they taste better. They're easier to do, and you get a fun little bone handle.
Nice.
I tell you, if I was to rate beef and barbecue, I would have short ribs at the top, maybe beef cheeks, and then
he's going to chuck out
chuck roast.
Oh, I love a good chuck roast.
And then maybe brisket, because brisket's a faff. It's so,
I'm not.
And that.
Big money too.
Fucking hell, I'm not made of money.
He says with his brand new Traeger. Not anymore.
Skint now, yeah.
Well,
Gotta get something new for the summer.
I know there's a lot of people that like a good steak, like a good tenderloin or sirloin. I'm not a big fillet guy. To me, at least beef fillets are a texture, not a flavor. If you know what I mean. However, there's 2 fillets I really, really enjoy, and I expect death threats to be coming as I speak. Horse sirloin is fucking better than any beef fillet you'll ever eat. If you haven't had horse fillet, try it.
I'd love to eat horse, but it's not allowed over here.
We're coming over to you to try it.
It's meatier, it's far more tender with a slightly sweet aftertaste, and it's so frigging good.
I'm
And the
so
second
glad you
fillet,
did that.
and here come the death threats, I'm sure. Whale, minke whale. When in season, minke whale. So good. Quickly seared or quickly smoked, just ever so lightly still raw on the inside, serve it up with some pickled ginger, some wasabi, or make a kind of asada type deal out of it. So
Where,
fucking good.
where the fuck do you go and buy whale from?
The
Is it
shop.
He's
is
in
it just in
Norway.
the super? Is it just in the
Yes,
supermarket?
in my local supermarket, when whale is in season, I will go down. It's 800 meters away. I'll buy whale steak, basically.
No way. You're living in the
What?
wrong country, Ryan.
How? What is like? Okay, so I have no idea what a whale steak looks like. Is it kind of is it meaty like a beef steak
Yes,
or so it's a red
it's
meat?
very meaty. It's a mammal.
Yeah. But then pork is
Yeah.
a white meat, isn't it? So
But it's very dark. It's almost black because of the oxygen and iron in the blood of the whale, and also it's very compact. And if but if you overcook it, it's gonna taste horrible. It's gonna be worse than overcooked duck, for instance. It's just going to turn tough, and it's not going to taste good, and you just
Like
basically
Gandhi's
wasted.
flip flop.
Yes, but done right, it's an amazing meat. It's very very meaty, with a lot of sort of irony, not irony, but irony undertones.
yeah,
Or yeah.
that's so cool. I'd pretty much eat anything, but whale is so intriguing. And you're right, we will get the food police coming down saying, "Boom," but equally, it's food.
Yeah.
I mean, if it washed up on a beach, surely that's fair game. It's like roadkill.
No, and before the food police, packs up the pitchforks and torches and gets on a plane to Norway and wait 10 days in quarantine to hunt me down. Minke whale is the northern Atlantic minke whale population is now safe. It's not even close to extinction. It's not on a red list or blacklist or anything. And it's only the minke whale people. We're not hunting blue whales or right whales or sperm whales or whatever the fuck. It's minke whale people.
I wouldn't fancy a plate of sperm whale, to be honest.
Well, I see you come back on the show and you start talking about sperm. Unbelievable.
I said sperm whale. I said,
This was PG.
Yeah, I thought it was as well.
This is far from PG, mate. It may have been when you was in charge, but I'm back now, so it's all going a bit.
You know why it's not PG at the moment? It's because of this thing here. This big. There's nothing PG about it now.
I'm getting feedback from my headphones.
Yeah, it's fine. We can maybe edit it. It's better than it was.
Yeah. So
I was going to ask what sort of the most obscure bit of meat is that you've cooked, but obviously for me now you said whale and horse meat. I guess that's probably one of the sort of obscure ones that you would have cooked. Or is there something more obscure than that?
If you can bet a whale, fucking hell, I'll be well impressed.
Well, I've done reindeer. Yeah. I mean, horse is not that common here, but it's not uncommon. Whale is again, it's when in season you can get at the supermarket. Reindeer it's expensive, but you know, for a special occasion or stuff like that, you fork out for it, and that's still you know, pretty common.
So what's reindeer like then? I'm assuming it's sort of quite gamey.
It is quite gamey, yeah. There's a difference between, I think, between wild reindeer and tame or farmed reindeer.
Okay.
That I think the wild reindeer, which there is not a whole lot of, I think is even more gamier than the sort of regular reindeer. But that's still also pretty gamey. We have, I think they started in the 1970s. They imported Icelandic sheep that run around freely all year round, and that's quite gamey and quite fatty. It's just excellent food, excellent to put on the grill.
Yeah. There's a lot of people saying, "Do you cook the red nose as well?"
Of course.
It just sort of hangs out
That's
the
the
head.
centerpiece which everyone fights for on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
It's like the pitmaster privilege. Surely.
That's what you aim for.
It's right on the Utah. Nice, like it. I tell you, horse is definitely one of the ones that is on my to try list. I do a lot of traveling. Prior to COVID, I used to do a lot of traveling to Belgium, and they eat horse. There's lots of restaurants that do it. So when we can finally get going back to the different countries, I think I'm definitely going to try horse. Not sure whether I'll be brave enough to go for whale though.
Iceland has both horse and whale, and puffin.
Puffin. Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder what that tastes like.
It's you have to
chicken.
No. Actually, what you need to do with puffin is to put them in milk for about 12 hours or overnight to pull all, because otherwise it's going to taste like cod liver oil. Because of the diet, but that in flavor, they can kind of remind you of grouse. So it's quite gamey.
Yeah.
But it's interesting.
A cod liver grouse. That sounds. I'd go for that.
Yeah.
Oh man. Sounds interesting, I guess.
Well, it's all meat at the end of the day if you can cook it and kill it, and
certainly
it's
is
all good to me.
Yeah.
I might try anything. I probably wouldn't be so keen on snake, but I'd probably eat anything else. Maybe not dog.
I want to try snake. I haven't had snake.
I just don't like snakes. Yeah, I'd try a crocodile world. I'd eat that. But I'm just scared to death of snakes. I don't know if I want to eat
that's why you
one.
should eat them.
You shouldn't. You should bash them up and exterminate as many as you can.
Eat your enemies.
Makes you stronger.
Bash them up. What are you slurping on now?
This is my peanut butter beer. Actually, as my brother's in the chat, he might recognise this glass. Yeah, Marky, recognise that? He got it for me. That's our coat of arms. Believe it or not, my brother got me that glass. But
so come on then. What does it taste like? This peanut butter weird beer that you've purchased.
Bearing in mind, I'm a traditional sort of ale drinker.
It tastes like shit.
It's not great, if I'm honest.
Yes.
It's got a really good sort of strong portery taste, but there's just something that tastes wrong about it. I don't know. It's not my
peanut butter.
I don't know. It might be the jam. Actually, it's a bit sort of. I can't. It's definitely something about it I'm not keen on. By the time I finished it, it'd be all right.
Yeah, I thought that the other day when I had I can't remember. I had another one of the Tiny Rebels one. It was the 9.9%. like chocolate flake flavored thing. Oh my goodness. It was ridiculous. It was so strong. It was just like, yeah, not nice. However, their pump up the jam is much nicer.
Yeah. So tell us all about your beer, Olav. What we got there?
This here, boys, this here, lads, this is some regular straight Norwegian Pilsner, a lager beer. It's Ås. It's made about 4-5 kilometers from where I'm sitting. It's across the hill, across the river, and there's the brewery, which is the oldest running brewery in Norway. And it's just, a pretty damn good lager. It's a Pilsner. Nothing fancy, chocolate flake, peanut butter jam shit. It's just a skål. Skål, Martin.
Skull. I felt all Viking then when I said skull. I watched that on the telly.
So, yeah.
Yeah, this stuff is far superior to what I'm drinking at the minute. This is our soldier on.
I've got one in the fridge that's like that. I might give it away. I gave away the other 999. It was just like even my I made my wife try it. It was a stout, so it was like this chocolatey stout, vanilla chocolate stout. No, you go and you tasted it. And you're like being hit by a fucking stout train.
It's like this shit I'm drinking at the minute.
Right, and it was like, wow, that's strong. And then you'd get the aftertaste, and you're like, okay, this tastes a bit rank. And then afterwards, you'd have like this sort of coating of what tasted like chocolate milkshake or chocolate ice cream in your mouth. So really, it was a really weird combination. I'm not sure I'll go with that one again. And then the other one that's in the fridge now is like a tangerine vanilla thing, sour, like really, like makes you turn like your face nearly turns inside out when you drink it. I forced one of those in last night. Thankfully, I didn't do it on the show tonight.
Force one of those in. Doesn't sound like the most pleasurable drinking experience, to be honest.
You're going to have to force that peanut butter and jelly thing in your face.
I'm making good progress. I have, that was full a little while ago. So
yeah, the only reason you're making good progress on it is because you're going, right, I'm going to have to neck this because it tastes like shit. I want to get back on the Doom bar.
Pretty much. So we're going to go back to another question we done earlier. Do you have any other barbecues or smokers, Olaf?
Yeah. Here I have one of the now out of stock Traeger fire pits, which is fun to chuck some charcoal on or some logs and have a traditional grill. But we have this holiday home in Sweden, and I have a suspended tripod fire pit thingy, and I use that when we're there, sort of very, very low tech in contrast to the Traeger, and use a mix of briquettes and wood, and the wood is from our property that I've
nice.
done myself. So it's sort of taking more ownership of the entire process.
Out of interest, what sort of wood is it you get up there? Is
What's on hand, basically? It's there's a lot of birch and a lot of rowan.
Okay.
And rowan actually surprised me when I tried it because it burned with a very good heat and not as slow as, for instance, oak, but very similar to birch.
Okay. What was the heat like compared to
very
birch?
good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, birch has a very good gives a very, very good heat.
Certainly does.
And I do like the taste of birch smoke.
Yeah.
So
it's got a
last summer
nice taste to it.
we went to the cabin of some friends of ours in central Norway, and they had the same type of fire pit and had a bunch of woods, and they'd bought a leg of lamb. So I actually did that on the fire pit, which is uncovered, no lid, and I did that with pure wood for 8 hours, I think.
That sounds like good fun.
Nice.
And it was just, finding small logs and sticking them in there and moving it about. And then we went on a hike for a couple of hours, came back. Fire had almost died out, but managed to salvage it. And I had no thermometer. I had no probe, nothing to go by. Just,
Back to
feel
basics.
and just fucking, going like
Awesome.
this.
Yeah.
And I cut it open. It's like, all right, it looks good. It looks good. It looks good. It looks a bit burnt there, but it's all right. And they said it's some of the best leg of lamb they've ever had.
Oh, wow. I'm so tempted to buy one of those fire pits with a suspended grill, or even just hang
Like
meat
a
above
cat-eye
it.
fireball.
And
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
I've done.
I nearly bought one.
I've hung leg of lamb, chicken, stuff like that. What I really like to do with that in summer is, you fire it up and you cook your pork chops and sausages or whatever, and put a few apples, some peaches at the bottom, right next to the embers, and you cook your food and you eat your food and you clear off the table and you sit down and you have a little drink and have a smoke or whatever, and then you go and you pick up the apples and the peaches and other fruits from the grill, brush them off, split them open. It's going to be rough. Have some ice cream or whipped cream on top of that, and you're good to go.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
You've almost sold me a cat eye. Like I was talking to Deb about it about 2 weeks ago. I was like, yeah, I want to get one. She's like, oh. Then I showed her some pictures, and she's like, oh yeah, they do actually look quite nice. So, I reckon this time next month I'm going to have one for sure.
And it's also great fun to have, just for instance, in winter or even in summer, you make a nice big fire, you go outside, sit down in a chair, have some wine or some good Lafroig or other acceptable beverage.
Yeah.
Sit there and contemplate existence, staring into flames, as humans have done for millennia.
That's one of the most relaxing things you get. Like I've got an open fire in my house. Like if that's on, I'm watching the fire. I'm not bothered with the telly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more entertaining than what shits on the TV anyway.
Yeah.
And there's something so primal about flame that it's like hypnotic, isn't it? I mean, I go out. I've stopped putting cardboard in the cardboard bin now, and I just burn it in the incinerator, and I just sit there and it's like, yes, burn you bitch. See how far you can get the flames like up the house. And, oh shit, that's a little bit too much cardboard on the other side.
Suddenly the fire department's coming around.
Yeah, we were trying to get some slightly wet old sort of wood that had been in the garden to go the other day. I'd built up a little sort of stack of in the burn bucket, chucked it in, nothing. It'd go an ember a little bit. I was like, right, bollocks, time to get the petrol out. So put the petrol on, put the lid on. I think, right, okay, put the lid on. We'll let the, it'll just out the top, set fire to it. I had to recover the lid from the next door neighbour's garden. You know me. I love a challenge.
Did you burn yourself?
No. Yeah, no, that was the time I nearly burnt, I burnt all the way through my little finger. That was the time I did that. recovering the lid that had blown off the top. I thought, it's not hot, pick it. Yeah, it is.
So
was
sorry,
that one.
Olav. He burns himself. Like, he's the only guy I know who can burn himself on anything. Whenever he has a barbecue, he'll come back with some new wonderful injury related to heat.
I've burnt basically all my
Yeah.
fingers.
See, I'm not the only person that does
And
it.
there's been a couple of times when both at home with the Traeger and with the fire pit, and you want to pick something up, and right as I do it, I go like, oh, hang on, this is stupid, and you still do it. And you're like, yeah, that was stupid. Fuck.
Oh no, I tend to do it. I tend to pick it up and go, oh fuck, this is hot. That was really stupid. And then I've got like a whole chicken in my hand, and it's like, fuck, it's getting hotter. What do I do with it? And you go into that sort of mental, you go into this mental lock, and like the tray sat next to you, like you can quite easily pick and dump, and it's done, and it doesn't burn, but you pick it up and you go, oh fuck me, that's hot, and you're stuck. You're like, tray. Too late. You burn all your hand.
Yeah. That's how you learn.
No, I don't.
No.
I even said to Tom the other day about using a vortex in the Weber kettle. So no, it wasn't. It was Neil Gorilla. He said that he sort of burnt all of his forearm over the top of his vortex. And I said to him, I tend to just reach over the vortex on purpose and see how many chicken wings I can flip before it burns.
Fucking hell. And then wonder why men live shorter than women.
Yeah,
absolutely
exactly right.
The answer, gentlemen, is right before us. We're at the cusp of discovering the reason.
I like playing with flames.
Oh, of course, it's fucking fun.
Yeah,
flames and explosions, they're fun.
Incredibly entertaining thing to do. But equally as well, I think he just likes being burnt. I think he's just a bit of a kinky devil on the quiet. He just likes it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm burnt. He's sitting there with a raging.
You've sussed me. I'm raging burner.
burn me, burn me, please. So,
oh my life.
Right. So as I was going to loop back round into the podcast. So are you? We sort of touched on earlier, but we've got barbecue. We know is expanding in Norway. How popular do you think? Oh, how quickly do you see it's going to grow over the next few years? And as you said, leaning more towards the low and slow of the American style of cooking.
I mean, again, pulled pork has become a new, very popular favorite here in Norway. Unfortunately, it's that pre-packaged sous vide, comes with sauce type stuff, but that gives us a sort of edge in. Try the proper ones, and I do think people are discovering what American barbecue actually is. That it's not a sticky sweet sauce. It's a culinary tradition all of its own, with massive variations, and people are slowly discovering it. And but the great thing is that when they do discover it, they go like, oh my fucking god, this is absolutely brilliant. When they try a proper brisket for the first time, some proper spare ribs for the first time, or even just smoked chicken, or just give them that taste of slowly cooked, slowly smoked meat. And so I think it's going to. I mean, as I said, we have 3 proper barbecue restaurants in the Oslo area, I think, and a few others scattered around the country. And I think more and more are popping up, and there's more and more interest in it. And I do think that COVID has helped a bit with that, because people aren't traveling. Okay, I'm not spending X amount of money on holiday going somewhere. I've redone the house X number of times. What can I spend my money on now? Okay, I'll buy myself a new smoker. I'm working from home. I can put like a 4 kilo pork shoulder or brisket or a 7 kilo brisket on and maintain that throughout the day, and it's sort of that you can go a bit back and forth. So we're very much a sort of back garden smoker community, but it's growing, and there's a lot of curiosity surrounding it, and a lot of interest in it.
I can see it growing really quickly over there. But just for the simple fact that cold smoking and curing as well, it's quite big in.
We do have a tradition here with cold smoking and curing for preservation or conservation. Like cold smoked salmon. One of my favorites, smoked reindeer, which is brilliant. Cured hams and stuff like that. But we're and also hot smoked mackerel is a favorite in Norway.
Yeah.
Now to sort of apply that to other meats and other cuts, and then taking the sort of tough pieces from the foresection of the animal that we would not traditionally put into a stew. Now cook it slow on the grill and see what happens, and giving people some pieces of that that they have grown up with the grands cooking, making a casserole or a stew or putting in the oven. They're like, taste this. Go like, oh my fucking god, what have you done?
Nothing. Just cooked it very slowly with some smoke.
Yeah, exactly. This is salt, pepper, a bit of paprika, garlic, smoke.
Yeah. Nothing that is too strenuous. It's crazy, isn't it? How much barbecue changes sort of these tough, almost unusable cuts just to sort of almost food porn.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why we all got into it, wasn't it? Just to do, that pure flavor explosion in your mouth of
exactly.
Yeah.
And I like to sort of course, I've cooked some very, very expensive meats, but what I do prefer to do is, what can I find in the supermarket? What can I find at my butcher's that's, has a fairly decent size, but it's cheap as fuck. Because that to me is the origin of barbecue in the American tradition. That you take the worst cuts and you give it time and smoke and heat and make it edible.
Well,
yeah.
I totally agree. Like, you get some people there. What's the best way to describe them? Sort of like meat elitists or meat snobs, if you like. If they sort of go out, they cook a wagyu brisket or a wagyu this or a wagyu that. It was never ever intended to be eaten that way by the Japanese. They've got these wagyu animals, the wagyu cows. They eat it at like an ounce at a time. They cut it really thin and cook it really quickly. They don't cook it for hours. It's literally wafer thin, on and off the grill, into your. I don't think I've never tasted wagyu, and I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to, but just because it's not necessarily marbled meat. It's sort of like maybe fat marbled with meat, if that makes sense. Because most of it, you get a buttery taste, but you don't get much protein.
No, that's true.
I certainly try it once. I'm not gonna sit there and go, oh, do you know, I don't want to try it.
I
But
don't know
yeah,
if I do.
I tend to agree. I'm quite sensitive to too much fat anyway. So yeah, I mean, I try a little bit. I wouldn't sit down and have like a whole sort of Wagyu steak.
I think that's
It
going to
just
be too
wouldn't
much for
agree with
anyone.
me. But yeah, definitely.
No, I'm with you because I like a bit of fat on my meat, just so you know. The flavor is not in the fat, but the fat carries the flavor.
Yeah.
But it can't be too much. And I'm also I've found very sensitive to salt in my food. That it's food to me, like pre-made foods can very quickly become too salty. Pre-made rubs can be too salty, and it's just yeah.
I'm going to put you on the spot now. How did you find the Traeger rubs? They're all stacked up behind you. So
yeah, I really do like. I don't add any salt to my food or when I use them. But I think there's some other producers of rubs in America who were born in Australia. Sorry. Who shall remain nameless, but hardcore cannibal. Sorry, which I find too salty. It's just too much. But I like the Traeger Blackened Saskatchewan rub. It's just so fun because it's already black and it does something to the surface of the meat. And there is a good variation of them, from the big game blend to the pork and poultry that are interchangeable, which is kind of sweet, and you have a more herby one with a fin and feather. So yeah, I do actually like them. Yeah.
So the blackened one that you were talking about then, charcoal based by any chance?
Quite possibly, yes. And that's I think that's the saltiest one of them all. So I like to use that on sort of bigger beefier cuts.
Quite it's like a new thing, isn't it? The whole dark, like sort of the blackened or the charcoal, sort of colouring effect. It's it's sort of. I don't know what the reasoning behind it. I think there's, it gives a few different flavour profiles that brings to the front.
And it's also a bit of about appearance. I think that it does help the bark. And we do eat with our eyes.
Absolutely, we do.
But that's also so fucking fun though. When going back to talking or spreading the gospel of smoke to those unenlightened, you have this piece of brisket or chuck or whatever or pork shoulder, and it's been on the smoker for like 12, 14, 16, even 24 hours, and it looks like a fucking meteorite. And he posts that, and some wanker goes, "Oh, that looks burnt,"
and you're like, "Oh no!"
And then just when that happens, I always refrain from commenting. I'm just waiting for the first one to open the sort of go like, "You fucking twat! That's not burnt. That's fucking perfect, mate."
Yeah, exactly right.
It's bark.
Yeah,
that's the best bit.
That's the best bit of barbecue you can eat, in my opinion. Like, you get a good bark on a nice piece of pork, glaze it, and then break it down into nice little chunks and put it in a roll.
Yeah.
Oh, heaven in one bite.
Yeah,
it is absolutely heaven.
Does sound good. I'm hungry now.
What? I'm trying to think of.
Let me turn the Traeger off.
I'm trying to think when I've heard of who was it? The grill girl. What's her name? She was the first person I heard of with the black rub, sort of like using charcoal in the rubs, and that was about two
Yeah.
2.5-3 years ago. So Robin Giles, I think her name is, something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
But,
She, I can't remember when she came out with it, but I think like that the use of charcoal in seasoning has been around for quite a bit, and I think again our friends from Japan has been doing that for a bit. But yeah,
she's certainly she's certainly the one who comes to mind, who sort of brought it into the mass consciousness of the masses. But yeah, I've not tried it, but I will do. It looks a really interesting taste to me. Just because the spectacle of using a black rub on like pork or beef, or I'd probably use it on beef, to be honest. But it looks really interesting. It does.
I know that someone that we partner with is potentially looking at some colourful new additives to his rubs. Not that I hinted that I wanted a really, really bright red tikka paste, or like you said earlier, we eat with our eyes. And for the people that post cooks on Instagram, the brighter the better. So I said to him, make a really nice, almost like a tikka base that you can put on your chicken, skewer it up, and you put them on the barbecue. That shit's going to sell hand over fist, just because it's bright red. Yeah. And all you're doing is you're adding sort of food colouring powder to it. Just a tiny jab. And you got this bright red. You can use that in all manners of different things. Even if you use like for example, if you were to make like a chicken sort of rub, and you threw in quite a yellowy colour, that's going to make your chicken pop. Yeah. And also, so I think there's definitely a market for colours within sort of food.
And using Mexican achiote paste, which is bright red, but it can be a bit better. But you don't need a whole lot of that to make your food really, really pop.
Let's have a look.
I love the Mexican flavors as well. Actually, I'm really getting it up. But again, I think that's probably because at the flat top I'm using, it lends itself quite well to tacos and quesadillas and all that sort of good, sort of fast. Well, it's not fast cooking, but it's that sort of cooking style. I do. I'm getting quite into that now. I've done a couple of cooks with bits and bobs and that on the grill. And obviously, you got to put the work in first to get it tender, but then you just sort of reheat it and like put the cheese on and all that sort of stuff. But it's so good. It's sort of like the complete opposites of both worlds. You've got the beef cheeks cooking away for Christ knows how long in the drum, and then you literally pull it out after so many hours of cooking, and then bang it on the flat top. It's so hot, cover it in cheese and chili, and then more hot sauce and more cheese, and then boom, it's just so good. Really good. Talking of
I want food now.
yeah. So what we sort of touched on multimedia. Do you have a preferred type of what is your preferred multimedia platform to work with? Obviously, you've got a YouTube channel, you've got your Instagram, which is going, and your blog as well, which you write.
Yeah, no, the blog is sort of like the sort of backbone of it all. That's how it started, and that's sort of the main focus of it. And last year I wanted to get more into videos, so started the YouTube channel. I sort of died down a bit because of work, and it takes a lot more time to do video than still photography and writing. And I do like. I mean, my blog and my Facebook page is geared toward Norwegians. It's all basically in Norwegian, and that was a
Yeah.
very conscious decision. But what I do actually, I think I prefer Instagram because it's there are more international. I post in English, and I've met so many cool people on Instagram from across the globe. Yeah, exactly. Hey,
Yeah.
loads of people in America and gotten into the barbecue community on Instagram, which is a global friendly group of people.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I must say that for anyone who's curious about barbecuing and stuff like that, that the barbecue community, online community, is amazingly friendly and open and cheering you on. And of course, you're going to have a couple of wankers everywhere, but for the most part, brilliant people. And even some of the biggest names around, well, if you pop them a message because you have a question, they will take the time to answer you.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Oh.
I think as a barbecuer, you kind of you're humble to your roots because
Yeah.
you started somewhere.
Exactly.
Regardless of how big and as successful you are, you started where those people coming in and asking you questions.
Exactly.
And
To be honest, I've found the bigger and the more successful people we've actually spoken to are also the most humble, to be fair. It's sort of...
Yeah.
Skull.
Scott? No, I think when you sort of achieve greatness, you don't have to prove yourself. You don't.
No.
And it's not it's how to put it, but it's sort of like, yeah, I've done that. I've been there. It's just, yeah, I'm just human, just like the rest of you. It's and I think most people are friendly and nice, and when it comes to barbecue, it's often a question of passion, a question of love, and they're driven more by that desire to share that passion than anything else.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
I totally got that's the absolute core of barbecue, in my opinion. The food is the love,
Yeah.
You get up at 4 a.m. to light a barbecue, to cook it all day and fuck around with a barbecue, unless you're like yourself and Matt, where you can just control it from your watch.
Yeah.
but yeah, that is the no.
It's awesome. It really is. That I don't knock it, Ryan. You're just jealous.
I'm totally not knocking it. I think there's a place for every. If you're outside cooking, it's a good thing, and it doesn't matter what you're cooking on. You're cooking outside, and you're smoking meat, and you're going to turn it into something delicious to give to the people that you love.
Exactly.
Right? There isn't anything better than that.
If the Wi-Fi drops out and it decides that it doesn't want to tell you your meat's cooked 3 hours prior, it's going in the bin. But we're hoping that I haven't had that yet. Touch wood. Let's hope it doesn't do that.
Only with your only fire. Fuck me. That was a story.
Yeah, that wasn't good. Yeah, the smart fire decided that.
Smart.
I think it was either the battery was running out, like my battery box was running low, or the Wi-Fi was playing up, and it decided to ramp itself to. It just left the fan on permanently, and couldn't work out how to cool it down. So I came out, and I'm not joking. My drum might as well have been fucking glowing at the top.
Shit.
Like, obviously drums are designed to run at low temperatures. This
Yeah,
was
yeah,
running
yeah.
at like 400 degrees C.
Jesus Christ.
So I stuck in a set of ribs, turned the smart fire on, had the probe in, and I was like, right, okay, we'll do the old 3-2-1 on them. Put them in, and within 20 minutes, I get an alert saying your ribs are nearly done. I'm like, fuck off, they're not. Oh shit, it's at 400 degrees. Why is it at 400 degrees? Oh, so I ran outside, pulled the smart fire off. I was like, fuck, the fan's running flat out. Undid the lid and just looked at these ribs, and they were just, oh my God.
So, question then, with a 400C
Ridiculous.
oven, did you make a pizza?
I should have done, shouldn't I? I didn't think it was like, you were able to get a drum to 400 degrees C.
Oh, that's
But
quite the
thing,
achievement. That's quite the
yeah,
achievement.
I mean, I've got like my fire basket in there probably holds about 8 kilo of charcoal.
Jesus.
Well, let's be honest, there wasn't 8 kilo of charcoal left in it. It must have used most of it getting up to 400 degrees. And I come out and I'm like you walked up to the drum and you could feel the heat radiating from it. It's just like, fucking hell, this is hot. Look down at the temperature gauge and it's off the temperature gauge. And you're like, shit,
Oh, Jesus.
this is far, far too hot. So, yeah, that was... I managed to recover those ribs, funnily enough, though. So, I took them out of the drum, let the drum cool down. Took probably 45 minutes for the drum to come down to a decent temperature, and then like the only way to recover sort of an absolute blast furnace for ribs was to drop the temperature even lower and wrap them they were wrapped for about 5 hours.
Jesus.
And then I think obviously I steamed the shit out of them for 5 hours just to keep them so that they still had some moisture in them. And then I unwrapped them for about an hour and then served them up. And all right, granted, I could tell that I fucked up, but that's because I knew I fucked up. Everybody else was like, wow, these are amazing. Recovered a bad situation, I think.
Well, that's good. Well done, mate. Well done. That's fucking brilliant work, actually.
Yeah.
If you can pull it back from the brink.
You just have to sit there and you go, oh, fuck, right, what do I do? And you just go back to, like, complete basics. Well, you've stuck it in a blast furnace for 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and it's literally, you've just removed all the moisture out. What are you going to do? Put moisture back into it.
Yeah.
So it's just, I guess a lot of people would have just gone, well, fuck me, that's the end of them, and binned them, and called it a day. But never call it a day. Always think of something else. I think
always another.
If you think it's going to be, if your meat's going to come out tough and dry, you've always got that braising technique that you can rely on just to bring it back. So if you go, oh shit, I've overcooked this, or you've gone past that point, you can always braise it to bring some moisture back into it.
And stick it in a tortilla or a pita bread and have some tacos or a kebab or whatever. Hide it with sauce and dressing and veggies.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. That's always good for leftovers or completely tanked meat, I suppose. So I'm just sort of like trying to plot my way back round to. We covered exotic meats, but I'm not sure how good the audio was.
No, it was okay. We did.
Was it?
We did this bit, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I could hear that bit. So, blog. We haven't really covered much of your blog. What started you with the blog? What made you decide that you wanted to do that?
As I said a bit earlier in passing, I'd been furloughed from previous employment, and
Yeah.
I do like to write, and I do like to cook just in general, and I love to grill. And so when all right, bought a fairly cheap kettle, and started writing and taking pictures. I had no idea about SEO or whatever, and this was on a like a free platform, that sort of free template. You type in your name. Oh, it's available. Okay, it's yours, but you have no say in the layout or anything.
Right. Yeah.
So I was on there for about 4 months, and I was like, this sucks. This really, really, really sucks. And I had used a different name at the time. And then I decided to get my own domain and set up the WordPress site and do it that way. And Meat and Metal was something someone had made in a comment on a forum like 8 years ago. I was there known as a metalhead, and I love to cook. It's like, oh, you're gonna have a weekend of meat and metal, eh? And that sort of meat and metal that's stuck with me.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and it was available, and then I saw the meaning of it too. That getting down to the meat and metal, going into the essence of things, as an expression. And I'm like, oh, fuck that! I'm going with this.
Yeah, it
So
sounds good.
that-
I didn't even realise it had a meaning.
Yeah.
I thought it was-
So that's how that got started, and slowly built it up. Started it on my own domain about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's been slowly growing. And when I started out, there was 1 or 2 active grill blogs in Norway, but they weren't on a regular basis. And I think I've just been churning it out, and now I see there's other blogs popping up on grilling and barbecuing, and seeing people getting more interested in it, and I see traffic going into my site is increasing, almost doubling every year now, and it's just
Nice.
it's awesome.
That's good. So, a little bit about the blog then. How often do you post on your blog? How often do you do sort of content for it?
And during winter, it's, even though I have a Traeger and they work brilliant in winter, it's dark in Norway in the winter. Where I live, we have a few hours of daylight, and to do photography or video, you need good light, and so like, oh fuck it, I just want to cook. I don't want to mess around.
You don't.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to stand out. Kids are crying because they're hungry. Wife is, yeah. So in the winter, it's not on a regular basis, but I try to at least every 2 weeks. In summer, sort of peak season, which is starting now, around mid-April, going into mid-September, I will try to post every week something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either a recipe, an interview, or just me rambling about something odd, or writing about some gear or techniques, something like that. Sometimes I might post twice a week, but I try to keep it around once a week.
You just given me an idea, actually. If you'd fancy sharing that with our website, and we give you full credit, as because we run blogs on our website as well from guest writers. If you fancy doing that, you're more than welcome.
Yeah. I could write something up for you. My English is passable, I think. So
that'd be really cool. Awesome. Just a different perspective, and just something interesting. I'm sure would be excellent that people like to see.
Oh, I'm game.
Awesome.
No, wicked.
Oh, hang on, let me get another beer out the fridge.
Just very aware of the running time currently.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
All right.
What's next on your list, Ryan?
We've covered a lot of it, but the case is now I'm like 6 or 7 pints in.
Half empty Doom bar.
Yeah, actually. It's getting
Lad.
there. So we've covered we've got the traditional dishes you cook on the barbecue. Did we get that one? And was the audio good?
I didn't hear that one, but
Okay, if you didn't hear it, in which case then the traditional cooks at Norwegian what?
Around Easter, we have this. It's a fairly new tradition, but a Lego lamb, which is usually done in the oven, root veg, a little bit of wine, and that's it. But try to do that on the grill, and I've done it fairly quick, like the sort of traditional 2-3 hour cook, as you would in the oven.
Yep.
But also done it like for 8 hours, where you can basically just lift off the bone and the meat goes swoop.
Yeah.
For Christmas, roast pork belly is very, very popular in Norway. I hate to but I think around 30% or even higher of Norwegian households will have a roast pork belly on Christmas Eve, which is our big day of dinner and pressies and all that.
Yeah.
And more people are doing that on the grill for Christmas dinner, because they've tried the pork belly on the grill and go like, this is even more fantastic than what comes out of the oven. So we're going to do that on Christmas Eve. But also that they now start cooking it more year round, not just for Christmas, but it's because it's a delicious cut of meat.
Oh yeah.
Funnily enough, I have about what did I pick up? 1.5 kilo of pork belly this morning.
Oh, nice, very nice.
It's going on the Traeger Sunday, along with a shoulder of pork as well. So,
nice.
All pork and pork belly.
Yeah,
all ready for next week's sandwiches, and the pork belly's not going to go in sandwich. The pork belly's just going to get used straight away.
Yeah,
you're going to do the PB pork belly burnt ends, or are you just going to sort of? If you haven't done it, you've got the tools to do it now, and it's.
I know
I
do. I did them.
Pork belly burnt ends are so bloody good. It should be fucking outlawed.
I did them on the Weber kettle before the Traeger arrived, and yes, they are bloody good. But I don't think the wife really appreciated them so much. She asked. she said to me today, if you're getting pork belly, don't do what you did last time. Right, hold on. Okay, so obviously she just wants the whole pork belly cooked in one hit. The last time I cubed it all up, cooked it, and then sauced and sort of just let it cook down and render. How would you, let's go that way. How would you do it? If you're going to do pork belly burnt ends, how would you do it?
All right. Remove the bones.
Yep.
Remove the skin. I would score the meat side, just sort of halfway, just to get more surface area for the rub.
Okay.
Stick that on the Traeger, super smoke. Cook that for about 4 or 5 hours, I suppose. Then take that off. Cube it. Rub. back on, take it off after about an hour, sauce, more rub, and then start braising it basically, and then put it back. Meanwhile, while all of this is going on, because I do not like wasting food, I'd boil the skin. I'd
Okay.
boil the skin, cut that into strips, put that back on the grill while the pork belly is smoking.
I know where
Smoke
you're
the
going
skin
with this.
along with the pork belly to dry it out, and that's nice and dry, and the pork belly is still doing its thing. Chuck that skin in a deep fryer, and pull that out
Pork
and serve
skeleton.
that out as snacks while we're waiting.
Nice.
And then the pork belly burnt ends, they're done when you can basically squeeze them. So
Yep.
yeah.
I agree
There
with
you go.
Olav. Exactly what he said.
So that's where I went wrong then. So I cubed them first.
Yeah,
You shouldn't.
that's what
shouldn't give
I've
him
done that too.
Yeah, I was. That's the first time I did burnt ends or pork belly burnt ends, and they were good, but they were missing.
Yeah,
If
they
that
were
makes sense. They
kind of
weren't
dry, kind of
like,
hard.
They weren't dry and hard, but the fat didn't render off enough.
Yeah.
So it was just like picking out the fat and then eating the little chunks of. Yeah, they didn't quite go to how I was expecting them to go. So maybe I'll try it that way this time.
Malcolm, go how to barbecue right pork belly burnt ends. It's a perfect video, very instructional. He's a he's a good instructional barbecuer anyway. But that's how I've done my pork belly burnt ends off his videos. They come out perfect every time.
Right. That'll be Sunday's job then. Whilst the shoulders cooking, nice and low. I'll be trying to pull that. It's quite a lean joint though, so
A question:
we'll see.
Does your pork belly have the nipples on still?
I've had pork bellies with nipples on them. Yeah.
I made bacon with my friend's a pork farmer, right?
Yeah.
Went over his house. Oh yeah, I've got some nice pork belly for you. It was all frozen. I was like, all right, yeah, thanks, Mark. Picked it up, took it home, had fucking nipples on it, and I was like, I rung him up. I said, "What am I going to do with this?" He goes, "Oh, obviously when you you take the rind off the bacon, so you got to skin it anyway. But when you skin, you can still see the fucking nipples. It's like you got to core them out."
Yeah, that's what you do. You sharp knife and you cut them out.
He's like, "Oh, you could." He makes bacon with nipples in.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Ooh, it's a bit not for me." But
all right, more from you.
Yeah.
but another great use for pork belly is pulled pork. If you haven't tried that, just skin down, take the bones off, skin down, squirt again, rub, and basically if you watch the Chef's Table barbecue with Scott and see his whole hog barbecue,
Yeah.
you can sort of approach it that way using that same technique and just mop it and mop it and mop it, and it's the fat renders out beautifully, and it's the most tender, juiciest pulled pork ever.
I tell you, with pork belly as well, salt and pepper is just ace.
Yeah.
I was gonna say there's not a huge amount of meat on our pork belly though.
It's just sort of like you get the fat's about that thick, and then the meat's probably the same. and you're going to lose a lot of that through the render.
You're rendering a lot of fat off, and then I guess if you shred it up, it depends how much pork belly you're cooking.
Yeah.
If you're cooking like a big old chunk of pork belly, then I guess it's probably quite nice.
But it's the size of the meat that actually takes the heat, if that makes sense. The bigger the meat, the longer the cook.
Yeah.
There's a rule of thumb.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, any other questions you've got left on your list?
I'm going to go with an oldie or a standard question. So, what are your favourite, what go-to music or favourite albums?
Oh, good question. I am a metalhead. First album or tape I ever got, because I'm that old. I grew up with tapes, not with a record player. Was Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast, and that album is still with me to this day. Those years with Number of the Beast, Peace of Mind, Power Slave, and then Live After Death with Maiden are just brilliant albums. I'm a big Slayer fan as well. To go off on the other side of it, so Rain and Blood, Seasons in the Abyss, God Hates Us All. Big thrash metal fan with Anthrax, Pantera, Testament, old school Metallica. Of course, you can't forget about Priest. Gotta have a bit of Priest in. But in Norway's also sort of famous or infamous for a certain genre within metal for the past few decades. And, I do like Mayhem, for instance, Dark Throne. Got a good mate who's in a brilliant band called Obliteration, which you guys should check out if you like your metal dark and fast. It's a very good band. But then I can, I'm a big fan of Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson. Don't mind listening, during the day I can switch between Motorhead and the Beatles, between Norwegian black metal with Mayhem to Lynn Anderson or Beethoven, or listening to some opera. But it's mainly metal that I listen to, sort of old school metal.
Nice.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Can't be a bit of metal. Getting out there and giving it some.
Get that aggro out.
Yeah, absolutely. See, I like listening to it as you go around the M25. Pretty sure that the M25 is sort of shaped in a certain way that makes metal better.
Yeah.
Make metal better. There you go.
The reference is from Good Omens, if anyone's read Good Omens.
I haven't read it. I saw the series, which is fucking brilliant.
Do you know what? The series is not a million miles off the book, which is
it's very true to the book.
There's some very, very good bits in the book. Crowley, the devil, or the hellhound, he is instrument in creating the M25, and he moves the markers a couple of meters to make like a pentagram. It's wicked. But yes, no, I certainly enjoy a bit of metal. Metallica, definitely.
Yeah.
Love a bit of Metallica.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm not sure my son really likes me sort of rocking out to Master of Puppets or anything like that, but tough shit's my car.
There has been some comments from the back seat here as well. That do we have to listen to this loud music, Dad? Yes, we have.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. We'll put on the children's programming afterwards. Dad just needs to rock out to this riff. Listen to this riff now. Listen. This is important. Listen. This is education.
If you talk, I'm rewinding it.
That's an old school set of rewinding.
Listen, darling. Listen, darling. I know you want to listen to Peppa Pig, but this is the one bit of drumming that Lars actually gets correct. So let's honor that.
Nice.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, good stuff. So, are we going to do the hot fire round? Or
Yes,
are
I
we
was just about to say the same thing. Good things. Good minds think alike. You want to go first, or do you want me to go first? I think I already know the answer to the first one. Hot and fast, or low and slow?
Low and slow.
Good man. I guessed that
So,
one already. But...
day or night?
Day.
Beers or spirits?
Beer.
Lump or briquette?
Briquette.
Pork or beef?
Pork.
So, ribs, wet or dry?
Ooh. Dry.
Wrap it or let it ride?
Let it ride.
Burgers or hot dogs?
Burgers.
Nice. We really need to get some more questions for the hot and fast quiz, don't we? There's not a huge amount of them, but
I tell you what we should
enough.
do. From this point on, every guest we have puts a question in.
Nice. Yes,
Oh,
I like it.
go on.
I will add it as we go. Over to you.
Let's see.
That's on the
Horse,
spot
yay
there,
or
man.
nay?
Oh, yay or nay? Love it.
I say yay.
I'm going to say yay as well.
Yay!
Yay.
Oh, I spelt nay wrong. I'm going to change that. Love it. Yay or nay? That is quality. Yeah. What about the people in the chat? Horse, yay or nay?
100% horse. I really hope we can. I hope we got the audio for the horse thing. I want to try some horse. Right, so
Horse is
we're
brilliant.
we're coming towards the end of the interview. Tell us all about your social medias and where we can find you, please.
My blog is Meat and Metal in one word, no. Facebook, Meat and Metal NO in one word. Instagram, Meat and Metal NO in one word. And the same on YouTube, Meat and Metal NO. I also have a Twitter account that I haven't used for the past 3 years. But that's also Meat and Metal NO if you want to look me up. My
At least
Facebook.
you're honest about it.
I tried. I fucking tried. Okay.
But basically, what happened was you went, do you know what? I need to get every single one of the handles so they're the same across the platform, like I did. And then you go, the fuck do you do with Twitter?
What is it
that
with
can just go in the
barbecue?
background.
You know, honestly, if you didn't get started on Twitter 3 years ago, if you're not a journo or politician or in entertainment or that's sort of the game, Twitter is just absolutely fucking useless. I'm sorry, but it's just people tell you have to be on social media where your customers are and you have to grab their attention, blah blah blah. No, you have to be where you are. I mean, yeah,
absolutely.
If I must admit, if you're a podcast and you're on Twitter, you do seem to get some good support. So shout out to the shout. You do actually, yeah.
Oh, okay. I best start using Twitter.
Yeah. Pay attention.
Sorry. My
Don't
bad,
Twitter, I didn't mean that. I love you. I love you.
My bad, Twitter family.
I thought I'd just put it out there. Everyone in Twitter. Thanks for your support.
Just give me the spade. Ah, dear. Right. So it's time to wrap this up then. You've covered your social medias already. Let me say thank you very much for coming on the show. It's been an awesome show, apart from all the technical issues we had earlier on in the show. But
We persevered.
that's what editing's for. So yes, and the joys of a live show gives us a little bit of fun to go with, doesn't it? So yes. Obviously we jump into what's known as the pub club, so if you want to stick around for the pub club, have another beverage with Brian and anybody that wants to come in from the chat, I will post the link in a moment. So we have about a 2-minute intermission and then we jump into it, so completely up to you if you want to hang out.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been brilliant, and I didn't notice the technical issues, so I got to talk a bit more. So that was fine. And I have to go to the loo now. So
yes. So let me run the advert, and we will reconvene in a couple of minutes. Right. See you later, guys.
Cheers,
Thanks, guys.